I have my joke. And I heard about this woman whose husband recently died. So she was talking to her best friend. And she said to her, I'm broke. And you said, what do you mean you're broke? He left you hundreds of thousands of dollars. What do you do with the money? I said, well, I had to pay the funeral expenses and the memorial stone. How big is that stone? 5.5 carats. I want to talk to you today about the power of small. The power of small. And let me tell you, I love how these things happen because sometimes I'm struggling of what kind of message I'm going to present to you, and the idea comes in the weirdest places. I have the whole idea of what to say of this Shabbat as I was presenting a message on Tu B'Av event. I was talking to people, and in the background of my head, I was already writing this sermon. That's the way sometimes it happens. Because there were certain things that I was saying there, I said, yes. When you get into something, and then you can expand that principle to the other aspects of life. So that's exactly what happened to me. Because I was talking to the people about why we celebrate Tu B'Av. And the reason is, what is so special about the date? One thing you have to know, it's about all these special days in the Jewish calendar. They all commemorate something, even if that something sometimes is not so obvious. Of course, we celebrate Pesach. What do we commemorate on Pesach? The Exodus from Egypt, right? Shavuot, revelation from Torah. But for example, something like Tisha B'Av, right? Tisha B'Av, you would say, well, it's a destruction of the temple. But according to the rabbis, that date was special even before the destruction of the temple. Tisha B'Av was special because that was the anniversary of the report of the 12 spies. Remember when Moses sent 12 spies, they came back and 10 said, it's impossible. And people believed to those 10. And they were so disheartened that they wanted to start a revolution to go back to Egypt. And they started to cry. And God said to Moses, of course, this is all the Midrash, right? It's not in the Torah. God said to Moses, because they cried without a reason, I'll give them a reason to cry. But then there was something else. The rabbi said that at that exact moment, God stopped all communications with Moses. Fast forward, because the consequence of that action was that the whole generation had to die. So the next milestone is after all that generation died. It took about 40 years. Okay? And what happened is there was one day that everybody finally died. And the rabbi said, that is Tu B'Av. And that's why we celebrate. And I said, what kind of celebration is that? Celebrate that nobody, people stopped dying because there was nobody else who died. But then the rabbi said, well, that's not exactly what we celebrate, but because the last person of that generation died, now God resumed communication with Moses. And I was thinking about the power of communication. Before the 12 spies, there was this intimate relationship between Moses and God that it was based on mutual communication. When the communication stopped, was a big problem. And then eventually the communication resumed. And that intimate relationship between God and Moses started to be evident again. But communication is something that we need every day. There are certain things, and I was thinking about this in the context of a couple, right? But we can expand that principle to many other aspects of life. Sometimes we believe that for a couple, for a marriage to be successful, we need to think big. We need to be able to celebrate all those big milestones. St. Valentine's Day. Let's make a big present, right? The anniversary, another big present. Don't you dare forget about that one. Or it's going to be disaster, right? Because it's a big thing. And it's expected a big present, a birthday, Mother's Day, and all that stuff. The big things. But I realized that it's not so much about that. That is not what is going to bring success to marriage. What is going to bring success are the small things that we do every day. The kind of communication that we have every day. Because without communication, there is no way of success. The little things we do, helping with the chores, right? I don't know, just be nice enough. If you drive your spouse's car, bring it back with the tank full of gas, or take it for a car wash. Little things every day. I have this conversation with my wife all the time. Toilet seat, right? Don't you dare leave it up. Bring it down. Little thing, but every day. Don't let me know that there is not enough milk when there's just a little bit like that, right? And help with the laundry. Say you love your spouse all the time, every day. Don't wait until some Valentine's, anniversary, birthday, or Mother's Day to say I love you. It's every day. It reminds me of another joke. And this couple, after 35 years of marriage, they go to therapy, and the wife was so upset. And she said, in tears to the therapist, she said, my husband never tells me that he loves me. The therapist looked at the husband and said, is that true? And he said, yes. But why? Well, I already told her I love her under the chuppah. If there is any change, I will let her know. That's not the way it works. The key for success are little things every single day. Every single day. Now let's come to this week's parsha. This week's parsha opens with the phrase, Vehaya im Eikev tishmeun, and if you obey these rules. You know what happened if you obey these rules? Well, it's there a long list of blessings. God will show you favor. Everything is going to be great because you're going to deserve God's blessings. And everything you can imagine, you are going to be blessed. But then there is a question. If you obey these rules, which rules? Which rules specifically is this paragraph talking about? Is it the entire Torah? Is it the Ten Commandments, which we just read past week? What is it? But it's not clear. But it's not clear. And that's why Rashi comes to interpret this verse in a very interesting way. Because the word Eikev, that sometimes is translated as an if or because, Eikev also comes from the word heel, the heel, right? Remember Yaakov? Eikev, Yaakov, it's coming from the same root. Yaakov was named Yaakov because he was born holding the heel of Esav, of his brother. So Eikev, so what does it have to do with this parsha? Eikev as the heel, and Rashi said, because Eikev there means those small mitzvot, small commandments that people usually toss under their heels. The things we believe that they are so small that they are irrelevant. So that's what it is. So basically this parsha says, if you observe all these little things that you think that they are irrelevant, and you concentrate only on the big things, then you have a problem. But if you're such a person who pay attention to all those little details every day instead of waiting to have a big milestone to do something big, if you're such a person that takes care of things every single day, then you are there for a big blessing. You are going to be surprised in life how much better things are going to go. And I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about work. I'm talking about studies. Do you study once a month for the big exam, or you study every day a little bit to keep it fresh? You know, if you went through school, high school, university, you know what I'm talking about. You can't leave it to the last minute and then you have one marathon of 2 days studying everything. It's something that has to happen all the time. And I believe this week's Parsha is a perfect reminder of that. It's easy. It's easy to fulfill mitzvot that attract attention, right? We have the extra motivation that, hey, people are going to congratulate us or people are going to notice that we do it. So yeah, we can Shabbat morning, right? But sometimes we neglect daily Minyan. Nobody cares about that. Eikev is right, or sometimes we I give a big check for tzedakah. Sometimes there are other little things. It could be a pallbearer in a funeral when there is no family around to say thank you, right? Oh, I come to the high holidays so everybody can see you there. But there is also little commandments of saying somebody nice to somebody else. This is something that happened to me the other day. You can never predict the impact that a nice word in a casual conversation can do. It's amazing. I was talking to a couple the day for a wedding. And it happened that I prepared her for a bat mitzvah. So one of the things that I try to do when I talk to couples that I was involved in the bar mitzvahs is to try to find the recording, the bar mitzvah. So we have a laugh a little bit. This is you 15 years ago. And I couldn't find it. But I did find a video of her brother singing in one of the rehearsals. And I said to this person, yeah, remember how beautiful voice he had. And then she said something that I thought I didn't see that coming. She said, yeah, every time we have a Shabbat dinner, he always requests to sing the blessings. Why? Because the cantor told him he had a beautiful voice. It's all about the little things, not about the big things. And this is what this Parsha is trying to remind us. This is what Tu B'Av tried to remind us. That the only way we can find a meaningful life and a successful life is if we don't live a life focusing just on big things, but if we believe in the power of small. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.